Good morning, YouTube. It's 5:08 a.m. Monday, November 8th, 2021. Um, in spite of how bad my situation still is, I actually feeling really good today, really positive. I've been spending a lot of time with my older daughter the last week, and it's actually been really good quality time. Mostly I've been just kind of riding around with her while she delivers for Uber Eats and DoorDash. But it's just been good. I mean, we've just been able to just kind of bond and talk about all kinds of stuff, which has been nice. I was deprived from the bulk of her childhood due to her mother, and I don't know, kind of feels like we're making up for lost time. Although it I don't know. I'm like simultaneously sad and excited for her as she's moving to Portland, Oregon tomorrow. So I'm definitely going with her. I'm not sure what time we'll be hitting the road, but we're gonna ride together, and then after she kind of gets I want to say settled with a stable place, but I know that's not really on the agenda. But I don't know, we'll probably spend a day just kind of wandering around the area, exploring together. And then I'm taking a Greyhound back here, and if everything kind of goes according to plan, I hope to get back home sometime Wednesday night, Thursday morning, so I can do my show at Bullock's on Thursday. Really excited. I have never been to the Pacific Northwest. I mean, my mother told me that I went there as a baby. I don't feel like that counts, but I certainly have no memories of being anywhere north of Redding, California, along the West Coast. So I don't ever recall being, in Oregon or Washington. Wow, there's like a king-size mattress underneath that tree right there that I walked by in the park. I don't know if the video caught that, but the homeless are getting pretty bold at the point of dragging down big full-size mattresses to make their beds under the trees. Anyway, where was I? Speaking of homeless, so we're gonna Allison's gonna be arriving homeless in Portland. Not that that's gonna be an extended thing or anything, and this is definitely what she wants to do, and we've discussed it. She's deliberately chosen to quasi live in her car before, and we've done some road trips before where we've been functionally living in the car together. I mean, you can call it camping, call it what you want, I mean, it's not like we didn't have homes to have a home to come back to, but we went, road trip and crashed in the car or pitched a tent as opposed to getting a hotel. So, in fact, we actually did that when she was a teenager. We went to the town I went to high school in, Douglas, Wyoming, and slept at Riverside Park. Spent the night at Riverside Park. She slept in my friend Corey's car, and him and I stayed in a tent behind the car, and that was really cool. Really cool. And actually, we had the same arrangement for a couple of days in Glendo, where we got to see the total eclipse of the sun, maybe about 4 years ago. That was really a life-changing experience. I mean, not only because it's the first time I really got to bond with my daughter after, the roughly decade that her mother kept her away from me, but just being back to the part of eastern Wyoming where I grew up in was just some crazy nostalgia, since I hadn't been there since I was, I want to say I haven't been there since I was a teenager. I do believe I was like probably 19 the last time I'd been to Wyoming. Well, I take that back. No, I lived in Jackson when I was 21. But boy, as far as like eastern Wyoming, in the area where I grew up, yeah, I think I'd been there since I was 19. Other than just simply driving through on the way to Jackson from Denver. When I moved to Jackson, I moved from Denver. Anyway, we the whole, what do you call it, the whole eclipse experience was absolutely amazing, and certainly I have an appreciation and understanding for why prehistoric man was so terrified of total eclipses, because I mean, it's one thing to look at a video about it or see pictures of it. It's a whole other thing to be standing in a field and watch the sun quickly fade away and then turn into this dim ring of fire in the sky while the temperature outside drops like 30-40 degrees and it gets dark, but there's a dim light on the horizon in every direction, and you watch all the animals and birds and even the crickets completely out of sorts as to what's going on. I mean, I actually saw flocks of birds flying overhead, flying into each other, because the whole experience of the sun basically disappearing out of the sky threw off their however it is that they navigate it. It threw them off, and yeah, actually saw birds fly into each other. It was pretty wild. Anyway, yeah. So the plan is to go to drive up to Oregon. I do believe we'll probably do a little DoorDash while we're there. Just she's fairly DoorDash and Uber Eats. She's fairly sure that all she has to do is just simply log into her app when she gets there, and she'll be good to work. Kind of like I used to do with Lime. And I don't know, it seems like a good way to kind of learn the area together. After that, I know she's wanting to look at a few places. Her and her boyfriend have been looking online and trying to stake out places to rent and or buy. He's supposed to be getting a pretty sizable like moving allowance bonus, sort of like a signing bonus. So I mean, you know, once he gets there, having the money for a place isn't going to be any issue whatsoever. It's just a matter of you know, rather than decide on a place sight unseen from here in Arizona based on pictures on the internet, you learn a whole lot more about an area just parking a car and walking around it. So, you know, we kind of want to, Allison wants to spend some time checking that out, and I'd like to at least spend a day with her checking some of the spots out and just kind of walk around to get a feel for her, you know, the different neighborhoods of places that they've looked at and stuff. So pretty excited. I wish I had a little more time free to actually stay there with her for a while, but yeah, I got to be back here for my karaoke show on Thursday. Not only because I don't have anyone to really cover me for it, and I don't want to risk losing the gig over, you know, a last minute, hey, I'm in Oregon and I can't get there. You know, I don't really want to risk that. And at this point, my income is so low, missing one of my 4 nights of work for the month. Yeah, it could pretty much destroy me. So yeah, kind of running on a shoestring budget, and my daughter's boyfriend, he's paying for the bus ticket for me to get back. So he's definitely supports me rolling with her versus her driving alone. So, which should allow us to get there quicker, you know, since we can kind of tag team the driving, you know, taking turns sleeping and driving, and do the drive straight through. Google Maps says it's about a 23-hour drive. So, I don't know, I'm pretty excited just getting to see some complete change of scenery and some more quality time with her, because I got a feeling after I get on that bus, I'm probably not going to see her for a long time. Travel is one of those luxuries that I'm not able to afford very often. I mean, as it is, I probably haven't seen my brother in over a year, and he lives in Surprise, so I've got a sister that lives in Black Canyon City. That's comparatively close, but feels like it's approaching a year since I've seen her as well. So right now, not having a car to drive, I've got a good friend that lives, that I've done several drives out to her place on my vlog, who lives in Gilbert, and she doesn't drive either. And with neither of us driving, we may as well live in different states. I mean, theoretically, I could take a bus to Gilbert, but it's, as I've mentioned before, the different buses here in Phoenix, the different bus services each have their own, or the different cities each handle their own bus service. It kind of operates all under the blanket of Valley Metro, but Valley Metro doesn't determine the routes, or the scheduling. That's all determined by each individual city. And Gilbert, the town of Gilbert, just doesn't really want public transportation. It's kind of an upper middle class suburb, and everybody drives, and everybody knows that the only people that are on public buses are riffraff. So they just simply don't want them, and they don't want them there after dark. So most of the routes get serviced. Most stops get service. I don't think anything gets serviced more than once every half hour. A lot of the routes only get serviced like once an hour, and they run at best maybe 12 hours a day, from like 6 a.m. until around 6 p.m. So it's going to Gilbert and getting back via bus from where I live in East Phoenix is borderline. It's not impossible, but it's just something I don't, can't really justify spending a day on that. Entire day, 2 days of other stuff I gotta, do. Anyway, I'm not sure why I've been talking about that. It's kind of focus on the trip going to Oregon. Really excited about it. Hopefully I can find some time to shoot a little video on there, but generally speaking, I don't ever shoot video if I'm spending time with other people. So, wow, never noticed how nice of a bus bench they put at this stop, and it's so dark y'all can't see it. That's new. Oh gosh, what was I gonna say? Anyway, yeah, really, really, really excited about the trip. I didn't sleep really well Saturday night, as as you may have seen in the last video. I walked home from the Hideaway. Had a great night of singing karaoke at the Hideaway, by the way. Sang quite a few songs. Probably the one that I had the most fun singing, though, was Ma 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 Belle. First song I sang of the night was Ma 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 Belle by Electric Light Orchestra, and I'm a huge ELO fan. Definitely been in my top 3 favorite music artists since I was a little kid, and still a huge fan. And that's just one of those songs that's kind of been in my mind since, I want to say probably about 6 years old. Oh, look at that, there's a bus running on 44th Street already. Yeah, I hate how in the late evening there's no buses, but in the super early morning there is. I don't know, that always seems insane to me. But it is what it is. It's something I have the power to change. Anyway, hopefully when I get back I'll have my car. Crossing my fingers and hoping. Oh, that's neat. Somebody painted the Arizona Cardinals logo on the bricks. I've never noticed this. I guess when I'm walking down this sidewalk, I'm usually just too busy trying to get where I'm getting. Or shit, I think the last time I walked down the sidewalk going the other direction, I wasn't exactly walking. I was running, trying to catch up with that damn 44th Street southbound bus that just zoomed right by me at the bus stop. Yeah, I really hope when I get back I have my car. This has been the longest period I've been without a car, and I want to say over a decade, and it has absolutely sucked. Well, if there's anything that certainly, if there's any one thing that separates the haves and the have-nots in this city, it's having a car to drive. And I don't want to go on that at any more length. But anyway, yeah. So what was I saying? Yeah, so I had a great time singing, rocked out an old ELO song, and I don't think very many people at the bar knew what it was, but it just hit really well with the crowd. There were only a couple of people there that I knew. One of my regular singers used to come all the time that I used to actually chat with, text with quite a bit. She showed up. We had an interesting conversation. I spent probably half the night just sitting, chilling with her and talking. But yeah, she ended up, it's kind of funny, like she's got a fiance. Supposedly they've been living together for quite some time, and they're supposed to be getting married very soon, but she said he was at work, I think, and I don't know how she got there, but maybe in the last half hour I was there, she sided up next to a rather young, tall, attractive guy, and seemed very engrossed in that conversation. It looked a lot more engrossing than the conversation you would expect from, and who knows, maybe they're just, platonic friends like her and I are. Although, I'm not going to lie, if she was interested in something more, I'd be interested in something more. God knows I don't have much anything happening with the woman I'm living with at this point. Anyway, yeah, I thought she had taken off, and after bar closed, after I closed out my tab and the music was done, and then I saw her, and she's just like, and she told me that she was getting a ride home with him, so, which makes me very curious how she got there, but I was like, oh, well, I guess I'm walking, which I did, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of enjoyed the walk. I've not been very happy or comfortable at home lately, especially since I haven't had my car. And sometimes the depression and uncomfortable situation of being at home is just, I've just found myself sleeping incredibly long hours and full-on days at a time just to escape it. So, yeah, felt a whole lot better being on foot, and found myself back in the comment section of that John Oliver video from about a week ago on homelessness. That video is still getting momentum, getting views, and as many of the comment threads on it are still very active, and it still absolutely blows my mind how many people who have no experience with homelessness are bewildered by the concept that homeless people have access to the internet. And yeah, I commented to somebody, another person commenting about, well, how are you, if you're home, I don't believe you're really homeless, because if you're homeless, how do you get on YouTube? And to which, and I think the original poster has just kind of stopped responding. And if he's homeless, I mean, God knows what else he's dealing with. I will tell you, I will say this, when you're homeless or even on foot because you don't have a car, it's a lot easier to access the internet than it is to keep your damn phone charged. Like just walking up and down 44th Street here, there are a lot of different businesses and places that have free Wi-Fi access. Almost the entire length of the street. Like, I'm carrying my iPhone, it doesn't have service on it. And almost the entire length of the street, I will have internet on this phone. And it's because I've logged into pretty much every single Wi-Fi in this neighborhood. So as I lose one, it just, iOS just jumps onto another one. I might have a little burp in whatever I'm doing, but it just reconnects and just, buffers and restarts. And yeah, I told the guy, and actually this was after I did the little video of how the Walgreens was playing the William Tell overture loudly outside to try to annoy and deter homeless people from hanging out, and I was just kicking it behind the what do you call it, behind the Walgreens, and ran. Sure as shit, I was able to get Wi-Fi there from a dive bar that's located right across the street, which I'm a semi-regular customer at. I think I wasn't getting a full strength signal, but I think I was still getting 3 bars. I was getting a good enough signal that I was having no problem using YouTube and using the YouTube comment section. And I think I also popped in and responded to some stuff on Reddit as well. Might have even looked at my TikTok inbox. But yeah, I just commented to somebody, it's like, hey, it's not hard for a homeless person to use a smartphone that doesn't have service and get on free Wi-Fi. And he responded that and he seemed just very surprised that oh wait, it's, are you saying that you can just use any smartphone without service like a computer? I'm like, yeah, that's basically what a smartphone is. As long as you get a Wi-Fi connection, that Wi-Fi connection has an internet connection. It doesn't matter that you don't have service. I mean, certainly every time I boot this phone up, I do get a pop-up message that tells me, from iOS, that tells me that there's no, that I'm not receiving service, because I've got a SIM card in here, but it's been deactivated. So I get that pop-up, but one of the 2 options at the bottom of it is ignore. And I just click ignore, and the phone generally connects to some kind of Wi-Fi, and I use it all the time. I hardly ever use my Obama phone, other than to make a phone call. Everything else I do on this via Wi-Fi, often through the hotspot from the Obama phone. Anyway, so yeah, I kind of walked down the street and got a sandwich at Walgreens. Walked by 7-Eleven, decided I didn't really want anything from 7-Eleven, but I was able to get on somebody's Wi-Fi over there and peruse the 7-Eleven app to look what I had coming in terms of free bonuses, just to spend points versus dollars on my app, and then what deals I had, where I could maybe get discounts or extra points using my app. And I decided I wasn't really that hungry or thirsty, and just kept walking. But and then as I was walking more towards home, I did stop by my bank, check my balance over at Chase, and right around there, I got a response from the guy, the one I just mentioned, where he's like, wait, you mean you can use a smartphone like a computer? It's like, yeah. Well, he said that he was old school and didn't like smartphones, which seems odd to me. I mean, I'm pretty old school, but to me, what's not to like about a smartphone? It's pretty awesome having a really powerful multimedia computer that you can carry around with you in your pocket and access the internet from almost anywhere. I mean, that to me that's a pretty exciting thing. But then again, I've been a computer nerd since the early 80s, and I've watched computer technology evolve, and this is the kind of thing I dreamed about as a kid. So obviously not everybody's got that same perspective. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know what time I got home, to be honest. I feel like it was probably around 5 a.m. And as per usual, Priscilla was asleep, fully clothed on the couch, half sitting up. I went into bed. I feel like I fell asleep pretty quick. I know I fired around online on my iPhone for a while, but then I woke up pretty early And my daughter messaged me and said she was on her way over, and she did say that she was going to that she did say that she would probably come by yesterday to give me a ride to the post office. Not that I'm not capable of walking to the post office. I only had 3 orders going out, but you know, hey, I'll take it. But it kind of surprised me, like she didn't, like when she texted me, she said she was already almost there. And I'm like, oh shit, I gotta get dressed. But yeah, we went to the post office and delivered the last remaining 3 orders I had. And from there, she just logged into Uber Eats, and we spent pretty much the whole day just rolling around. And we both just decided to knock off because we were both like super fatigued. And I mean, obviously it's not safe for her to be driving if she's fatigued, and I was falling asleep because I don't think I got much sleep. So yeah, when I got home, I probably went right to sleep. I don't know what time it was I got home. I want to say probably only about 7 or 8 p.m., pretty early. So consequently, I woke up in the middle of the night, probably around, let's say about 2:30, and I've just been up since. Actually sold 2 more records. While I was rolling around with my daughter, I was working on finishing some listings. As I've explained before, the way I do my eBay listings is I take the pictures when I've got good sunlight and I can get good pictures, and then later I'll crop them and edit them and make them look good, and then I'll scan the barcodes of the items. And by scanning a barcode, hey, look at that guy driving down the road with no lights whatsoever. Can you see him? Probably not. I can barely see him with my eyes. So many irresponsible drivers out there, it's ridiculous. But being able to drive is not about being responsible. It's about having money. So that's something I don't really have right now. Anyway, yeah, so frustrated with that. Anyway, what was I going to say? Oh, so anyway, yeah, I'll scan them, and then I'll take my time and complete the listings. And I always make sure that my eBay listings are really thorough. You know, I make sure that the images are nicely cropped and look good. And I'll try to research, you know, exactly what pressing of a record or CD I have, and make sure I fill out as much information as possible. And granted, it's, you know, I'm making less money per hour by doing it that way, but I pride myself on having really good informative listings. That way people who are buying media from me know exactly what they're getting. And so I was kind of working on that. Like as she go into the various restaurants to pick up people's orders, I'd work on that. And I could kind of multitask and work on that while we were talking as well as she's driving. So I actually sold a record within 20 minutes of me getting it listed. Sold a copy of Chris Stapleton's debut album, Traveler, on vinyl. And for those who are unfamiliar with that album, it's the one that has his big hit Tennessee Whiskey on it. It's got some other really good songs on it as well, such as Parachute and Might As Well Get Stoned. That whole album is if you like southern rock or country bluesy country at all, it's a great listen, beginning to end. That is an absolutely phenomenal, solid album. Definitely one of the best albums of 2015. So yeah, no surprise that it sold as quickly as it did. And got a couple more listed. I forget exactly what all I got listed, but I was surprised that one sold so. I mean, not completely surprised, but it just, I don't know, it just always kind of amazes me when I list something and it sells within 15 minutes. Like, whoa, I just got the, you know, it's like I get a pop-up telling me that my listing is completed, and like the next pop-up is telling me that actually somebody did a best offer on it, but whatever. I always set auto rejects on best offers. So generally speaking, if somebody makes an offer, it's at a level that I'm going to accept. So yeah, you want to buck off, no problem. Love to sell you that record. And then I had another one sold while I was sleeping. Actually, no, I wasn't sleeping. I think the offer came through right after I woke up, because it was also on a best offer, and again, it was at a price that I would, yes, please, let me sell you this record. And that's an interesting one. I want to say it's been on my eBay store for over a year, so very glad to finally move it. Initially, I was asking quite a bit of money for it, but I've been inching the price down quite a bit, but I still got a decent amount for it. But it's a original pressing Sermon, I want to say from the late 60s or early 70s of Jimmy Swaggart. And granted, that's a pretty fringe interest kind of thing, but still a very interesting record. And it's pristine and it's factory sealed. It's like a time capsule. It's like somebody put that in a box somewhere and completely forgot about it. And as far as I can tell, it's been very well kept. It looks perfect, absolutely perfect. And that record would be self-released, so not a common record whatsoever. And for it to be factory sealed like that, it's just, I wouldn't be surprised if it's the only one on the planet that's like that. So I'm sure somebody's going to be pretty excited to get it. Still got to get that one packed, which is why I let out walking. I didn't expect I would do this much just unnecessary walking, but sometimes when I start recording, I just got a lot I feel like I need to get off my mind. So I was just walking to the QT, and I passed the QT, a good 25 minutes ago. I'm almost back to it now, though. So I'm going to wrap this up. This is over 30 minutes. But that one I still need to pack. I'm out of boxes large enough to cut into record mailers, so I gotta go. I hate to use the term dumpster diving, because that sounds so trashy, but generally, when I'm lacking large boxes for cutting into record mailers, I just look in the recycle bins, and there's always people tossing large boxes, and those are what I cut up into and make record mailers out of. I'm sure I'll find one between QT and home. On that note, I'm going to wrap this up. I do have an appointment with mental health clinic benefits specialist at 7. I'm supposed to meet him at 7:30 this morning, so I'll probably, once I get the Jimmy Swaggart record packed up, I'll probably head over to the bus and start going that direction. What time it is now? It's 5:41. Yeah, it's getting awfully close to time for me to start heading that way, because it takes almost an hour to get from here to the clinic. Yeah, like a 10-minute to 12-minute drive, but it takes an hour on the bus. It's pretty typical around here. Anyway, thanks for coming on the walk with me, and there will be more videos soon, and who knows what state I'll be in by the time I start shooting them.